Hello! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. I hope you're doing really well wherever or whenever in the world that you are. It's been a minute and I have no excuse other than life is busy and I low-key forgot about making videos. That's all I have to say about it. However, I was hanging out with my parents the other day and my dad made a comment that I need to get back to producing my show. And so I'm feeling inspired to pick up the camera, say hello to you all, talk about books, and get back into the groove a little bit. So welcome to the start of another reading vlog. It is currently Wednesday. This is gonna be my new MO moving forward. I have no goals. I have no set plan or agenda. I'm just gonna take my reading mood wherever as it comes or wherever it goes. Yeah, because I've just found that over the last few months, when I make TBRs for myself or I make reading agendas or plans, it has made me so slumpy. I read next to nothing in, oh my gosh, March, April, and most of May. I read like almost nothing. And so I want to avoid that as much as I can. So, like I said, it's Wednesday. I'm currently reading, I'm already forgetting the name, but obviously I'll put it on the screen so you can see. I recently read, while I was on vacation with my family, the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I read the first book, I read the novella, and then I read the second book. Loved it, 10 out of 10. It was so much fun. I think if you like any of those like ACOTAR type books, you're gonna have a great time with it. It was so fun. I thought it was really exciting and I liked all the characters. I thought the plot was really interesting and it was just an all around like really fun time. And so I'm reading on my Kindle I think it's like another standalone novella or just like standalone book in this world of the like Crown of Nyaxia world or whatever it's called. I just started it last night, so I'm maybe 2 chapters in. And so far, all I gather, it's about this woman who is human, but like is part of this human witchcraft group. And they're tasked with like assassinating icky people in their kingdom who are like doing harm to others. And now all of a sudden this vampire, this very mysterious vampire conqueror has come ashore and is causing all kinds of chaos and destruction. And several of their fellow like witch assassin sisters have been killed kind of in this conquering battle stuff. And so I have a feeling that the main girl who, oh my God, what's her name? It's like Sylvia. It's not Sylvia. I forget. But I have a feeling she's gonna, I don't know, have to assassinate this conqueror guy, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to see. It's really fun so far. Yeah, that's all I'm reading. I think later this evening, I'm going out to watch the U.S. women's national soccer team game against the Netherlands. But that's not till like 9. So I've got quite some time to chill and read and hang and boop around and do whatever I feel like. So I'll take you along. I have no idea how long this reading vlog is gonna be. I don't know how many days it's gonna cover or how many books. But come with me. We'll have a good time. That's all I got for you right now. I'm awkward at these transitions. I'm feeling rusty. I know I said this in the last video that I did, but I was feeling rusty then. I'm feeling rusty now. Anyways, enough rambling. I'm gonna get back to reading. Hello, it is me again. A little bit later. I had to refresh a little bit of my memory from last night when I was reading this before I went to bed. And now that I've like gotten back into the groove again, I'm only still like 3-ish chapters in. I'm reading at a glacial speed, but it's fine. It's fine. So oh my God, what is her name? Sylvia? Selena? Hold on. What is her name? Okay, Selena. Selena's her name. So she is part of this kind of assassin's guild, the Okosun, or however you say it. See, this is why I wish I was listening to this book. I don't think there is an audio version yet. Half the shit I don't know how to pronounce, so forgive my attempts. So it is like an assassin's guild, but it's not like they're set out to kill bad people. I'm getting the sense that like the site mother, the person, the being in charge of this little guild, it's like very deeply connected to their goddess. And so they're kind of only doing her will. So it's not like they're, you know, fighting for justice and righteousness. They're killing based on who their god says that they should, not based on who's good and who's bad. Just like there is no morality to it. It's just like the will of their goddess, I guess, which is interesting. So anyways, yeah, she's part of this little guild. I also read the description because I genuinely like didn't read what this book was about at all. I just knew that it was in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, and I was like, great, I'm gonna pick it up. And so yeah, the premise is that she's, I guess, gonna be sent to infiltrate this like vampire king's court or whatever, and of course they're gonna fall in love, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the drama and the tension. I'm sure it's gonna be a delightful enemies to lovers situation. So yeah, I'm into it. I just wanted to put this little caveat that when I was describing the book earlier, I did make a mistake, but I wasn't being as specific as I could have been. So anyways, all that to say, that's all the update that I have now. I've been so distracted. I was like watering. I mean, you'll have seen the B-roll. I was like watering my plants and playing with Francis. And okay, now I'm going to get back to reading. Yep, that's it. Okay, I'll check in with you guys later. Hello. Okay, so I got a little distracted, I guess. I've paused reading my Slaying the Vampire Conqueror book for now. I'm on like chapter, I don't know, 5 or 6. She's in his camp, and I think she's like in the process of negotiating how she's gonna stay with them. And so it's kind of like this game of cunning. Like, how is she gonna trick him? But he's also like more clever than she was expecting. So it's very interesting. I'm into it, but I paused that because I also decided to start listening. My audiobook of choice in this moment is going to be The Way of Kings. I'm starting the Stormlight Archive. Now, I've been wanting to read this book for years, and I've just been kind of intimidated, but also I just like haven't had the right mindset to start it yet, but it feels like the time is finally right. Plus my sister's boyfriend is also reading it and he's really enjoying it. And so I'm having kind of like FOMO. So I want to join and like know what he's talking about too. So I'm about to go on a walk. I'm going to listen to Stormlight Archive book, The Way of Kings, whatever it's called. And I'll let you guys know my initial thoughts. Right now I'm only about 40 pages in, so I'm just feeling confused and trying to like wrap my head around these characters and some of the magic stuff and the geography. So I'm interested so far, but yeah, I'm a little confused. So I'm going to wait a little longer till I tell you guys like my more concrete first impressions and thoughts. So anyways, off to walk, and I'll check in with you guys later. Hello. It is the next day. It's Thursday now. I wanted to give a little reading update on The Way of Kings. I'm about 200 pages in, and I finally feel like I have at least a general sense of who the main players or characters are and kind of like the gist of the world. Overall, I am so fascinated. Brandon Sanderson's writing is so engaging and interesting. I definitely think the Kaladin POV chapters are probably my favorite right now. I find his storyline the most interesting, like his kind of adventure so far, alternating between like leader in the military and slave, and this bridge situation is like so stressful. So I find that really interesting. The Shallan chapters are also sort of interesting to me. I'm like very curious to see how her relationship with oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. I'll put it on the screen. I'm curious how their relationship is gonna change throughout the book, or like how it's gonna develop. I just met Aladin, and I already really like this character too, although he's only been in like one chapter so far. I'm interested about like the gods, especially Seth or Zeth. You know, he's kind of got like a genie in the bottle situation going on where, you know, people can fully control him. And I just am curious. I'm like so eager to see how all these character storylines are eventually gonna connect. And I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm glad that I finally picked it up. I'm glad that it's already like living up to the hype I created in my mind on like how much I was gonna like it. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. I haven't read anything else in the Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, but I'll probably read that a little bit later when my like eyeballs need a change of scenery. I also am starting an e-arc that I got. I think the book is called The Blood Trials. Again, I'll put it on screen. I don't know too much about the plot or premise of this story, but I think it's a YA fantasy. It's a debut novel. So I'll let you guys know my thoughts as I get through that. And then I also, because of course, this is like so on brand for me, at night, I realized I couldn't listen to The Way of Kings because I was tired and I need to be really present to be listening to that audiobook, but I also love the white noise of an audiobook while I'm going to bed. And so I decided to pick up this book. I saw some book talker recommend it, saying that it was like very similar to ACOTAR, like it has similar themes. And I just feel like that'll be a light, easy listen, like as I'm going to bed, and it's not a big deal if I miss big details and stuff. So I've got a lot of reading to do and I'm very excited. Everything that I've picked up so far has been really interesting and engaging, and that's all I can ask for. Anyways, my big plan is to keep reading. Later tonight, my sister, my mom, and I are going to see Matchbox 20, which is so funny, but I'm very excited. I don't think I've earnestly listened to their music in like a decade, but I'm here for Rob Thomas, and I just saw the Barbie movie, and so like, yeah, if you've seen it, you'll know the reference. And so I'm very excited. Yeah, my sister and I are gonna get sushi and drinks before, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun day. So I'll check in with you the next time I've read anything of note. That's all I got for you. Francis is whining at my feet, so I gotta play with this one for a little bit. So I'll see you guys later. Friday, like late afternoon, creeping into early evening. I have some reading updates. I wanted to share that with you all. But first, let me just say kudos, Matchbox 20. Rob Thomas is a delight. The band was great. The show was so much fun. We had a great evening. It was full of like giggling and singing, and it was just a grand old time. Here's a little picture of me, my mom, and my sister. I mean, my only complaint, which has nothing to do with the band or the venue, is that because it's an outdoor venue, it is so hot. And I just feel like me and my sister especially were like so sweaty the whole show. But you know, what can you do except for lean into it and embrace it? And we had a great time. Anyways, so yeah, Matchbox 20 was so fun. But yeah, I got a good amount of reading done today. So first I started Forged by Blood. I got the title wrong yesterday, which I'm sure you've already seen because I would have put the cover up or whatever. But yeah, so I read the first chapter in this book. All I know so far, and again, I like to go into these books pretty blind, so I didn't really want to read. It's got a pretty long summary on Goodreads, and sometimes I feel like that can be accidentally spoilery, or yeah, I wanted to just go in and follow whatever adventure we go on. And so we meet our main character, Demi, and her mom have magic, some kind of like spirits magic or elemental magic, I'm not totally sure. And you get kind of a lay of the land of some of the like colonization that's gone on in this world. I believe this book is based off of Nigerian mythology. But anyways, you get a sense that like this like conquering people have come and like done away with magic, except for like when they need healers, like Demi and her mom. And yeah, I've got a good sense of kind of what the world is and the stakes are. And yeah, I'm curious to see like where we go following Demi. So far the writing is really beautiful. It's a little info dumpy, but I'm not mad about that because again, it's like the first chapter and I'm trying to get a lay of the land. So yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. So that's Forged by Blood. I read another big chunk in Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, and Selena is doing some searing for Atreus or whatever the Conqueror vampire guy's name is. And they're kind of vibing, like they're really feeling each other out. And she's like really struggling because, you know, she's infiltrating his ranks and it's like she has to establish trust with him. And so when she's doing her like seeing or vision, whatever, it's like, how much does she tell him? Because she doesn't really want him to conquer her people, but she can't totally lie because I'll see right through it. It's a really interesting dynamic. One of his like soldiers, whose name I'm of course forgetting, is great. He has like really funny banter with Selena. And so I'm just like very excited for like what's to come. It's a fun read. I also read a big chunk in The Way of Kings. I'm about 45% in. I'm on, let's see, part 3. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say other than I'm obsessed. It is so good. I'm really itching to see these characters' storylines merge and like connect. I like have some theories, but obviously I don't want to say anything here because I don't want it to be spoilery, but it is so good. I'm having a great time. I get what the hype's all about. So anyways, that's my little reading update. In just a few minutes, I'm getting ready to head out to get dinner, and then I'm going to see The Lion King on Broadway this evening. Very excited about that. I've never seen this show. So yeah, I can't wait. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts, or if you've got any favorite musical theater Broadway performances, let me know in the comments because I love musical theater. And so I'm very excited for this evening. So all that to say is I read a little today. I'm probably not gonna read anything else tonight, and I'll check in with you guys later. Now Saturday afternoon. It is like 3-ish o'clock, and I have reading updates. So I just finished The Trial of the Sun Queen, and here are my thoughts. I went into this book because someone on Book Talk said, if you like ACOTAR and you like the themes of ACOTAR, pick this book, this series up, because it does the same themes, but does them better / like with twists, and it's like the better version. And that recommendation was so off base. This book didn't remind me of ACOTAR at all. In the Goodreads description, it describes it as The Hunger Games meets The Bachelor. Now that is absolutely accurate. So if you're trying to read an episode of The Bachelor where people are dying, and if that sounds interesting to you, then I do think this is a fun series, but I was really let down because it just was not what I expected it to be. I mean, this is case in point why I prefer to go into books really blind, because I'm less likely to be disappointed. So this one, I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars, because for like 80% of the book, I was really irritated with the main character. I thought she was really naive and like really blindsided by her like goal in her mind, that she was like missing a lot of really obvious things. So she was really frustrating, and I felt like the plot was really predictable, and I didn't find the trial even all that like engaging, but the last little bit was really fun. And so, you know, it bumped it up a little bit. I might continue on in the series. The rest of the books are not available on audio. And I think actually the 3rd book in this trilogy comes out in 2024. So I might continue on, but I'm like not pressed about it at all. I downloaded the next book on my Kindle, but I have like a million other things I want to read before that. So I finished that, and I think I've read a little bit more in Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, but like nothing big to report here. Like, I'm reading it, it's good. They're vibing, but also kind of hating each other, which I love. So that's been fun. Yeah, I have nothing on my plans for today except for to like embrace my reading. This morning I had to take Frances to the vet, so she's a little mad at me, but she's sleeping now. I think we've made amends and we're good. But anyway, so all that to say is, yeah, the Trial Queen, Sun Queen book was fine. It was fine. I think pick it up if you want a really low stakes kind. I don't know if it's YA, but it reads very YA. So anyways, I'm rambling now. Sorry, I'm just realizing I've had my fan on like this whole vlog series because it is so freaking hot. So sorry in advance for all these clips that you're gonna be able to hear the fan. Gonna eventually make myself a snack. We're gonna do some more reading, and I'll see you guys when I see ya. Now Sunday, it's about 9:30. In just a couple minutes, I'm getting ready to go get my nails done, but I do have a quick reading update. So I know I mentioned yesterday that I finished The Trial of the Sun Queen, and I liked it, but then I continued my reading marathon, especially because it was very rainy and stormy most of yesterday afternoon. And so I also finished Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, and I loved it. It was so fun. I really enjoyed getting to see the expansion of the Crowns of Nyaxia world, and I'm very, very curious like when and how these two characters from this book are gonna show up later on in the series. The author's note at the end kind of alludes that their storyline is relevant for later in the series. And so I'm just very curious. I also, yes, I also really enjoyed their slow I don't know if it's really that slow burn because I feel like they were vibing at like 50%, but it did feel kind of a slower pace. I think that's because they sort of started as these like reluctant partners, and then kind of through that, like testing the waters and like slowly revealing truths to each other, they started to really love each other and trust each other. And man, they fight so well together. It was great. I will say the plot was like sort of predictable, but also there were some twists and turns that I didn't see coming. Some of them I totally like called and I knew, but again, I guess that's not really why you're reading these books. You're not reading them for like the unbelievable plot twists. You're there for the characters. And in that case, I think this book was fantastic. It was really fun. So if you've enjoyed the Crowns of Nyaxia, like those main two books, I definitely recommend picking this one up. I did start, the other day I was watching Book Talk and I screenshotted like 40,000 book recommendations. So I started last night on Hoopla, the audio for The Unmarked Witch. And so I just got through a few chapters last night, but what I gather is it's this witch in the Moon Coven whose name is Raven, and she doesn't have any like tattooed markings, which in this community show, I think like what kind of magic you have. And so she's sort of like shunned by her peers because they're like, she's unmarked, she doesn't have magic, but she does have magic. And so their coven leader has just died, and now her and her friend are kind of talking about putting their name in the goblet of fire, if you will, to like participate in this trial to potentially become the new leader of their coven. And I guess we've learned a little bit about her grandma and how her grandma was a really famous healer and Raven's kind of taken over that work. And yeah, I'm interested in this world. I find it funny that I went from the Trial of the Sun Queen, which is a trial book, to The Unmarked Witch, which apparently is a trial book. So that's fine. We're here for it. Yeah, I'll let you guys know my thoughts as I read a little bit more today. Like I said, I'm gonna go get my nails done and I'll check in with you guys later. Hello, it is me, obviously. It is a little bit later in the day. It's just about 2:30 and I got my nails done. They're looking beautiful. And I've been reading. And so I want to give you guys a little update. I'm about 60% in the Unmarked Witch, and I'm liking it. It's not the best thing that I've ever read, but I'm invested enough that I'm gonna keep reading, and we'll probably read the duology. I think it's just 2 books. And here are my thoughts. I think the trials are all very interesting. Like they're each pretty unique, but they're not feeling super high stakes. So I sort of feel like, although I'm curious about where they're gonna go and like what information is gonna be revealed, I'm not like stressed about it at all. And maybe I'm not supposed to be, but I guess I'm just not used to such low stakes trials. So that's been good. Getting to learn more about the different contestants, like who are all fighting to become the coven, is also really interesting. There's like a few like kind of villain characters that are feeling a little one note, but also like they're fine. I was very caught off guard by what I think is the central romance of this book. It's okay. I'm gonna put up a little spoiler at the bottom just in case you decide to pick it up. Maybe don't watch this little 2 seconds, but if you don't care or you've already read it, then keep listening. I was very confused when she's got the hots for this like Dark King. In my mind, the Dark King was like old, like her parents' age, but now I'm gathering that the Dark King is younger, like the current king was the OG Dark King's son. And I love that it's giving like everything's not as it seems. And although he's made to be this big, bad, gross, gruesome, murderous leader, like you're starting to get hints that that might not be the whole story or might not be entirely true. And I love that part. I think Raven is supposed to be like an adult woman, like in her 20s, maybe even in her 30s, but her voice is very young. Like she reads much younger than I think she's supposed to be. So some of the romance stuff, I'm like, wait, but you're like a teenager. What are you doing? But then she's not, so it's fine. Yeah, so all in all, I'm enjoying myself. I've been listening to this book while I was like doing groceries and driving around and running some errands. So now that I'm back, I might just keep listening to this book, or I might switch over to The Way of Kings. I'm kind of not sure. But yeah, I think my only plans really for today is to read, maybe do some meal prep, and then tomorrow's my dad's birthday, so we're doing a big dinner for him this evening. So I'm gonna head out to my parents' house later this afternoon. I may bring you guys along, I may not, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's all we got on the plans for today. So I'm gonna get back to reading. Okay, I'm having one more thought, sorry, before we move on. Now that I've like started listening a little bit, earlier I was saying that I didn't think the trials are very high stakes, and that's not quite feeling like the right descriptor. Like, they're high stakes in the sense that like tributes or like contestants are dying, like they're not surviving. It's dangerous. I guess it's just like not high stakes in the sense that like I'm not worried about the main group of characters. I would be so surprised if any of them died. So that's more what I mean by low stakes. Like they are very dangerous and like stressful and interesting, but I'm just not, I feel like we've got some hero armor going. Like I'm not actually worried any of our main characters are gonna be like fatally harmed. You know what I mean? So anyways, okay, that's all I wanted to say. My last tidbit before now I'm going back to like really reading. Hello, the vlog has come to a close. Like I was editing all the footage and I realized I never really closed it out and the end felt too awkward. So I wanted to do a quick clip to just kind of like bring it all together. And have a nice cohesive ending. So I did end up finishing The Unmarked Witch and it was fine. I think I ended up landing on like a 3.5, maybe just a 3 stars. It just felt so generic, like nothing really surprised me. I felt pretty lukewarm about almost all of the characters. There is like a female sidekick character that I really liked. But she just felt, she didn't feel nuanced or unique. She's just kind of like quirky, like I tell it how it is, kind of like funny sidekick best friend. Yeah, the trial stuff was interesting, and there was some plot stuff that came up at the very end that had me interested in like, oh, enough to pick up the next book. I think I might have said this already, but it's just a duology. And so I did pick that up and I've started it. And again, I think it's going to be just fine. All I have to say is I had a great, almost full week of reading. My dad's birthday dinner was so much fun. We had barbecue and it was delicious. And yeah, it was a really great time filled with fun fantasy and fantasy romance, which we love. So thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the end, go ahead and leave a little heart emoji because we're back and it was a lovely time to read. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye.